morning, everybody. Just rocking the micro this morning. It's of course stock air holes. Running some Ben Johnson. It used to be Oreo, now it's cream. Some pretty good shit. It's one of my favorites next to a few of the lines you already know that I love. I love the Jameson standard line. There's some new ones I'm getting now that's absolutely amazing, but that's not why I brought you here today. I've got tons of questions from new users. There's a lot of these atomizers going out now. It's you know, I need to do something for user error, I guess, to kind of go over these things. When you get these, take them out of the bag. I would recommend putting them on a mod to start the disassembly process. And I'm going to go through a build today that very few people use. I'm going to show you that I have problems on builds on occasion. I'm sure I'm going to have some hot spots that I'm going to chase around. But take your atomizer apart, remove the glass. The glass was put on by using a drop of juice. It should slide right off. A little twist, a little pull, it pop right off. Remove all the screws, all the O-rings. I've already done it, so I'm not going to go through it. Clean this thing with isopropyl alcohol. I clean them, I clean them, I clean them. I just want to make sure that oil flavor is gone. I'd spend 10 hours on these posts alone. You know, I take a hypodermic needle, you know, in my ultrasonic cleaner, and I clean these posts. I want you to do one final wash on it if you have time. It will make all the difference in your vape experience. These atomizers are built for flavor, and I want you to optimize it and get it, you know, when you put these things back together, you know, just whatever juice you have. I just happen to have Ben Johnson's juice sitting here. Put a drop of juice on the O-ring. Put your glass on. Turn it back and forth to make sure it's lubricated, and twist and push on. Don't force it on too fast. You want to push it to small, you know, to the bottom. Set it on your O-rings. Twist it and turn it. It'll pop right onto place to prevent chipping that glass on that inside of that juice deck. Your O-ring or your wrapper. Put your wrapper on. Tighten it down. And when I say tighten it down, I mean when you feel resistance, stop tightening. These things don't need to get overly tightened. If you do over tighten one, you can use a 90-degree pick or an Allen wrench. Put in one of the wick holes against the post and break it loose. As far as post adjustment, I have this sitting on the NEMI. I absolutely love the Nemesis. I have a lot of Nemesis, and I'm going to continue to buy the Nemesis because I feel that it's one of the finest mechanical mods on the market right now. There's others that I really like, but this is one of my go-tos. You know, as you can see, I mean, I have a Nemesis with a micro on it. I'm putting the turbine on another one, and I have numerous other ones in the finish shop getting redone. This center post is adjustable, guys. You know, if you put it on a mod that don't have this one, the Nemesis has a adjustable post, but I'm going to show you for other mods. Put it on, back it off just a little bit. Take a pair of pliers, take a little hammer, and tap that post. That's all it takes. A couple sharp taps, and it'll be loose, but you can feel the resistance. Go ahead and tighten her all the way down. You know, that's all it takes to adjust these center posts. You know, I like the seamless, you know, so that's why I've designed that post like that. I'm working on the new isolators, guys. I'm sorry we haven't had a problem with the isolators in the past, not like we are now, but I think it's because there's a lot of new users. And we will have Teflon. It's being turned as we speak, and I'll get those out to anybody that needs them. You can replace the top one. I don't know if you caught that. On any mod that has a screw on the bottom, your contacts on your mods are as important as your contacts on your atomizers. You want everything tight. Snug them down. You know, check these, you know, once, twice a week. You know, all of them. Chi-Yu, Nemesis, anything. I'm sure my mod in the future is going to have the same issues with that getting loose and keep your contacts clean, including your mods, your bottoms, your tops. Take your washers off, you know, use some wet dry sandpaper, 2000 grit, little water, and they clean up really quickly. We're going to get into the build. You know, I said I've already cleaned this one. I know that there's no residue in this one. You know, everything was cleaned with isopropyl alcohol, and I encourage you to maximize your vaping experience and clean these things when you get them. You know, I also want to address the chips in the glass. I've been working with my glass cutter to improve the quality, and I'm going to go ahead and tell him I need these things polished on the ends. I cannot flame polish these because of my tolerances. I've tried flame polishing several of these, and when I flame polished them, I'm telling you, the tolerance on these things is insanely tight. You flame polish this particular glass, they will not fit. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the camera down. I'm shooting this from my laptop, my big computer. I don't have my webcam going yet, so I can't really do a whole lot with that. I'm going to be kind of flying blind today. I'm going to show you a double mesh setup. I cut my mesh, I get it in 2-foot rolls, and I cut it off in chunks, you know, and I pre-oxidize, you know, put a light fold in it. You don't have to hold this with the pliers necessarily, and just do a quick oxidation of it on both sides. Running away from me. Just a quick oxidation. My wire, I do anneal my own wire. You can buy it from Timco pre-annealed. If I get it to stop shaking all over the place, I'm about out of gas. And you just go right down it. One quick pass is all it needs. It'll make it softer. This is just a 30A1. I'm going to go ahead and drop the camera and we'll get into this build. It's a double straw method. You use very little mesh. I'll put it up against any cable, any silica, any builds. You'll see that it's really phenomenal. It's 325 mesh. 500 will wick too fast. I mean, you sub-ohm guys, you might want to try 500. Play with it. 500. If you use a 325 outer straw and a 500 inner straw, it wicks incredibly fast. But I'm going to go ahead and drop this camera and make the necessary adjustment. Here we go. As far as my mesh, I don't use a lot of mesh. I just cut them off, I don't know, ½ inch or so. And these are honestly bigger than I normally use, and I'll probably cut these down even further. My inners, I use shorter. And I'm going to go ahead and trim these just a little bit more. You can use either a paper clip or a hypodermic needle. It will help aid in the rolling of these, keeping them true. Fold this one edge over. Just about 1 millimeter or so. I'm going to use a hypodermic needle this time. I don't normally use a paper clip, but I think this will work fine. I just roll it around it. Finger pressure. A light hit with my flame, that's it. I don't overly oxidize these things. If I have hot spots, I'll burn them out. I don't worry about that. And I put that in the hole. It's not tight fitting. It's just filling the hole. I'm gonna go ahead and roll my other one up to save my time. Just bear with me. I'm sorry. I hate long videos, but you know, this is something that, you know, we're gonna get into burning out hot spots and everything, preventing melting isolators. So now I'm going to take my 30. I don't put a whole lot of it in there. I put it between the mesh and the screw, just enough to get up under the screw. Tighten her down. don't overly tighten these wires. You just barely have to roll it around it. You don't pull any pressure on these at all. I don't have my nail clippers here, so I'm gonna have to use scissors. It's on there. I got one little hot spot. I don't use tools to adjust my coils. I just use my fingernails. And my coil's working. I'm gonna drop the other one in. Set the height to it. I'm gonna drop the wire in and do it. If you're learning how to build these dual coils, build one side and then the other. If you can build one coil, you can build two coils. You know, I don't feel my atomizers are built for U-wicks. Yes, there's a lot of people that run U-wicks. I don't necessarily run U-wicks. I think that they're pretty, but they're time consuming and they're not necessary. You know, I run opposing duals. And I really hope that you guys can see what I'm doing. I can't really see my screen right now. I've just put 4 wraps of 30 on each side. I don't run sub-ohms. I mean, I'm probably running fairly low, but, and I gotta be honest with you, I don't never know how many ohms I'm running. I don't care. I build these atomizers to their sweet spots. That's all that matters to me, and everybody has their own sweet spot, so do what you've got to do. You know, new coil, I pull up on my top coil just a little bit, adjust them out with my fingernails, work on that hot spot a little bit. Sorry for the boring video if you're even made it this far, but here in a minute I'll show you how to make these things run really, really well. And I popped a coil, so it does happen. I'm gonna pull this out real quick. Fix my wick. I'm going to insert the hypodermic back into it. I'm going to flip it over and just give it a once over. And I need to get the excess wire out. I'm going to drop my mesh back in the hole. And put another coil on. I'll cut this off. I'm actually going to cut this off because I don't need that roll. Like I said, don't pull on this, just let it lay where it wants to lay. Evenly space them as you wrap them. You don't really have to do a lot of adjustments. pull my top coil up before I even fire it, and you know, as you guys can see, there's times where you can build these things that are absolutely flawless, no hot spots. There's other times that give you a fit. You know, that one just went together, minor hot spot, little adjustment, just a little touch with your finger, and it goes away. You know, this thing's now running. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my mesh, and I'm going to cut little mesh. Let me square this end up. When I say little mesh, I mean like, you know, 5 millimeters. I'm not going to fold the edge over on these, but I'm going to use my medium paper clip. Like I said, this is a double straw method. And if you're still here, give it a go. Like I said, there's one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, I'm going to feed it right down one of these big holes. And it should just slide in. You can feel it scratching. Just give it a little twist and work it on in. Push it all the way down. Now at this point I recommend firing the mod off to make sure that you didn't create your own hotspot, and pick up your other one. Roll it around just like you did the first one. Roll it nice and tight. Make sure, you know, like I said, you want this to be a double straw. And insert it right down the other side. Right down to where it's flush up top. Everything glows beautifully, everything lights up evenly. You're ready to go. I'm going to pull up the camera. You know, that way I can kind of see what I'm doing too. As you can see, it's rocking and rolling. I'm using the Ben Johnson, like I said, in my micro. I'm actually going to give another shout out today. I just got this. It's from Clint Legg. I'm saying I just got this. Everybody knows I let juice sit for a while. It's G2 Vapor. This is another pretty good juice in my opinion. I think these guys have a lot of potential in this industry. As you can see behind me, I've got my juice cabinet that's overly stocked. I've got big bottles of Jameson and Standard in there, liters. I absolutely love their juice. I mean, there's so many juices that I like. There's so many guys that have this figured out now, and you know, when you get a proper build on one of these atomizers, it just takes your vaping to a new experience with this new juice. I mean, I remember a year and a half ago, man, juice was shit. I mean, absolute shit. You know, now these guys are starting to use all pharmaceutical grade stuff, and you know, which makes a difference. I mean, there's a difference between food grade propylene, you know, PG, and food grade VG. I mean, I think it makes a difference. This it's running, it's cracking. So I'm gonna put my top on it. And like I said, this isn't a ridiculously low ohm build. It's 4 wraps of 30. It's a double mesh, and I'm gonna grab a Vape Syndicate drip tip. I like these little wedges. I wish Adam would hurry up. Adam, hint, hint. I need some drip tips. And now I just need to make some. These were actually made for the turbine. I'll be cranking some out soon, but the fresh coil, you know, You know, if you want, you guys all want to know the trick on getting heavy vapor production without drilling these things out. I'll show it to you, man. This is how these atomizers are meant to run. I mean, these things are supposed to be warm. They're supposed to be flavorful. You don't necessarily have to drill these out. If you do, it's your atomizer, man. Do what you want. But if you draw, when you're making your draw a little air in from outside of the atomizer, from around your lips. And you can make super clouds too. You know, the flavor's there, spot on, it's warm. You know, for you that like those warm vapes and don't want to drill out an atomizer just to get vapor production, it's all in your build, it's all in your technique. So, like I said, I'm working on the Teflon isolators. I have the package of glass that just arrived today. I am going to go through it. I am going to make sure that it's right. I'm going to bag it up, and I'm going to start sending payment information out on Vaporwall. Guys, thanks for being patient. I'm sorry about this, man. I got like 1,500, 2,000 pieces of bagged glass. This has just been another one of them runs, and like I said, I've got all these here built, ready to ship, and I am going to continue cranking these things out. I have 4,500 atomizers. I have 2,000 titanium turbines and 2,000 titanium micros turning right now. I am almost complete with 500 of the stainless micros. Vape Revolution is getting 200 of the micros. I have the other 300. Look for a lot of stuff at the ECC. That's where I'm going to end up spending my weekend. I'm going to be there Friday and Saturday. You know, I've got too much stuff to do in LA, and that's where I'm going to be. So hopefully I see you all out there. I will be bringing the new Bliss Special LEs, hand delivering those to their rightful owners, and look for those. You know, I haven't seen a whole lot of the work. From what Justin showed me, I am very impressed, and I'm sure you will be too. So I'll see you all at the ECC.